are going through a proximity series, looking at what it looks like for us as followers of Jesus to draw closer to God, a God who is there wanting and willing us to be close to him. Now, much of the content that we are looking at through proximity is looking at this course, which is by a vicar down in London called Cris Rogers, and it's called Making Disciples. And the fantastic thing about this resource is that you can fill out a sort of questionnaire survey, which then reveals something about your discipleship. So what it does is it asks you a series of questions to do with your head, a series of questions to do with your heart, and a series of questions to do with your hands. And the principle behind answering these questions on a kind of sliding scale is that you will be able to see right now where you are really close to Jesus and where your discipleship is really, really fundamentally close to Jesus. And maybe some areas of your discipleship where maybe God is calling us to maybe work on it a little bit more. So, in this book and online, there is this discipleship making tool just here. And what it does is it's in a circular shape as you answer these questions. And then it will reveal to you what Cris Rogers calls your discipleship shape. So there's some examples in this book, and when you do it online, you'll see there's the bean shape, which indicates one area being more developed than the other. So, for example, you may be really close to Jesus with your heart, but possibly less close to Jesus with the aspects to do with your head or your hands. The pear shape, it says, shows one area out of the three that is less developed than the other two. So, for example, you might be really developed in your discipleship with your hands and your head, but just maybe there's some work with our hearts that we need to work on as we are following Jesus in our discipleship to him. There's a large circle, which possibly means that we are less confident in all three areas. There's a P, which is a really close circle, which is sort of indicating that you're confident in all three areas of your head, heart, and your hands. And then there's a starfish shape, which is a sort of a bit of a random one. It doesn't necessarily correlate, but it will show you key areas that you could work on in your discipleship as you follow Jesus. Now, the reason we're asking all of us to do this discipleship making tool is not because it's like an exam, or not because we want us to feel sort of in any way inadequate in our discipleship to Jesus. It is to point out some learning for us about where we can really invest our time and our energies into becoming more like Jesus as we spend time with him and then go and do as Jesus did. And this tool will just indicate or give you some clues as to some areas in which you can deepen that discipleship to Jesus. So what we'd really love you to do is fill out this questionnaire, fill out these questions, and reveal your discipleship shape. We'd love you to do that at the start of proximity. We're then going to work through this proximity course, and we'll probably be doing that for a good few weeks, if not a good few months. At the end of the course, as you have learnt with your head, experienced with your heart, and outworked your discipleship to Jesus with your hands, we want you to then complete the discipleship tool again. So redo the questionnaire and see if your shape has in any way changed or altered, and see whether some of those areas that maybe indicates we need a little bit of work on our discipleship has maybe gone a little bit closer to the center. We'll then also be encouraging the whole of Church Collective in about a year's time to do the discipleship making tool a third time. And again, every time we do this, we would hope that your shape would become slightly more closer to the center of that circle, particularly in those areas that need some work. So in your collectives, we are really encouraging you to do this discipleship making tool. You can do it by yourself. It's totally an anonymous thing. It's to do with you and Jesus. We're wanting us to do it as church collective so that we can go on this journey of growing closer to God as we become in close proximity to him. All the information will come up as a website, and you can just go onto that website and click on that and then do the discipleship making course.